Everybody, here we are going on with interview number 7. Our guest right now goes by the name of Codependent Confessions, which I thought was extremely interesting. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. So let me get her on so you can start, and we can start hearing her story. There we go. Hey, lady.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. So, give everybody a little bit of information about yourself, single, married, children. What's your story?
Okay, so I'm a single mother of 2. We're all students at this point right now. I went back to school at 40-ish. What I started, and hopefully be a role model for my children. So yeah.
Okay, that's good. Well, let's start. We're going to start the interview. I like to start the interview by kind of laying a foundation to let people know where you came from and, how you became the woman that you are. So let's start with your family of origin, your childhood. Would you say that, a lot of what you later encountered was formed from that, or were your parents like Mr. and Miss Perfect, or what went on in your family?
I come from probably what you would call a dysfunctional family of origin. So it starts off like this. I'm probably not supposed to be here because my father was cheating on his wife. He found my mother, who was a younger teenager. He found her, and he was a military guy, so you know how they go from different bases
all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, so that Rolling Stone thing, he was like a base roller, I guess. But so he runs into my mother. They start something. I think it went on for like from her being 16 to like 19 until the time she had me. But anywho, I was his firstborn. From my mother, I was his firstborn, and so he ups and leaves. This is the story that I get from piecing it together from talking to different people all over. So he ups and leaves, goes to Chicago. My mother was about to give me up for adoption. But I think back then, like, you couldn't do that without both parents' consent.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to like get in touch with him. So when they got in touch with him, he was like, no, or whatever. And apparently he like did a switcheroo, sent his wife back home, and then had me and my mom come where he was. Made up some excuse or whatever. But like I said, this is like from the wife, from my mom, from everybody that I'm piecing all of this together. So we reunite after he left us. And apparently one night something was going on between the two of them. And I think I was about 3 or 4 months old, I think they say. And she took his service revolver. He was an MP. She took his service revolver and she shot herself in the head with his gun.
Oh no.
And but she lived. She lived. My mom is alive. She went to the hospital. And well, my father woke up and he described her as being downstairs and finding her like sitting in a seat in a chair or whatnot, and he, the gun and everything. So anyway, called an ambulance. She goes to the hospital. She's still conscious. They think he shot her, so he goes to the hospital. They have him like in handcuffs. This is the story that was told to me. He's in handcuffs, and it's like a squeeze once for no, squeeze two for yes, or something like that, to let him know if he's the one that did that to her. And she said no, he wasn't. the one that did it to her. She did it to herself. So I go back to live with him. She's in in the hospital, a rehabilitation center and everything. And then that's where she remains, as far as I know. And then so then he brings me to his parents. They didn't know anything about me.
Surprise!
Right. And me and my grandfather share the same birthday. So he brought me to his parents. They didn't know anything about me, and then they kind of found out everything at the same time. So I was raised by my grandparents. He went on like with his wife or whatnot, and then they had 3 other kids together and stuff like that. And then I think the trauma or the whatever happened between him and my mom, I think got the best of him, and so he kind of got like kicked out of the military. He got kicked out of the military. So then he wound up coming to his parents' home. He wound up coming to the home where I lived at with his parents and everything. He just was an alcoholic and stuff. And it was real bad. Like, I still to this day haven't seen anybody as intoxicated as him. Like,
yeah, I mean, can you imagine though coming downstairs and seeing something like that?
yeah, I get that. But this is the thing. I found out with the studying I've been doing, I think my father's a narcissistic sociopath or one of the. So when I found my grandmother, she said that there was no downstairs. She said it was a 1-bedroom apartment. She said, so wherever my mama shot herself, she shot herself in the same room with us. So I was raised by my grandparents. And
so how old were you when you, left your grandparents and went like out on your own?
Ooh, okay. So at 15, I wound up pregnant by my high school boyfriend. But we didn't have the kid. But when I was like 18 or 19, I wound up leaving home because it was like too much control going on. I'm in school full time, I'm working full time, but it was just like I was still being controlled in the house. Whereas instead of being a young adult, it was like I was still a 14-year-old or something,
Mm-hmm.
Curfew and all this kind of stuff, and it was just hard to stay there like that. So I the boyfriend that I had at the time, I like went from this controlling household to his household, and he was the same. So it was like I jumped, from the skillet right into the flames or whatever with him. And
How old was he?
I was 19 and he was 24. We were the same age as my parents.
Oh, wow.
My mama shot herself. Yeah, we were the same age. My father was like 24 and my mom was 19.
Ooh, young.
Right.
So now this boyfriend that you picked at 15, do you remember what attracted you to him? Why did you pick him?
He's dead at 41 and he was alcoholic.
Okay. So we start connecting these dots. There's all these dots. You guys got these dots. It's very refreshing to see so many women willing to be so candid, about what they went through as they were growing up.
When we were in high school, like I had a herringbone chain and I let him wear it. And one night he went to 7-Eleven or something like that, and he I don't even know what happened. Everybody was telling me what happened, but anyway, he got into an altercation and this guy snatched my chain off of his neck. But he was drunk. Yeah. So, and then apparently what I heard the night he died, he was intoxicated and they couldn't call an ambulance because he wasn't supposed to be drinking in order for him to keep his job or whatever.
Oh.
And so they couldn't call the ambulance for him because, you know, they were trying to get him to sleep it off, but he wound up dying.
Oh boy.
Sleep. Yeah.
Alcohol poisoning, probably.
Or either choked in his sleep to death, or I think they said heart attack though.
Oh.
I think he had been like physically violent or something that night. From the details,
41, that is really young to be dying of a heart attack.
That scared me. I was like, wait a minute, we just like a few years apart. Like, because he and I were closer in age, you know, so I was like a sophomore and he was like a senior. So it was only like 2 years apart from each other.
Okay.
But then my son's father, that's the one that I was the same age, and he was the same age as my father.
So let's talk about that relationship, because I assume that's the one that is the source of your angst and the story that you want to share. So you got with him, you were like 16 when you met him.
No, when I was 19.
Okay. So you were 19.
Yeah.
And he was 24.
Yes. And he had his own apartment, own car, and it was just like he just looked out. He looked out. But looking back now, it was strings attached to that looking out. That's the part. So like, but you don't know that when you're raised in that same kind of household, because your upbringing is like that as well. So when your upbringing is like that, you go out when your family. What I found out, when your family of origin is the way it is, you go out and you pick those same friends, those same boyfriends, and those sisters and those cousins that you claim and all that kind of stuff. You pick those same people, and then you wonder why it's the same mess. It's because you pick the same people. But so I ran from the controlling home right to his home because I was escaping. I felt like I was escaping. And with him being a boyfriend, it's like you can't disrespect your parents, right? Or the parent like people. So you like, I'm grown, I'm out of here, right? So I'm out of there. But then I jump right into somebody else that feel like they my daddy too. So he wanted to control. Oh my God, he wanted to control everything. Like if I spoke to a guy, if I looked at a guy, you always being friendly. You always this, you always that. I'm like, I just said hi.
Oh my God.
I just said hi. One time he flipped out on me at the mall. We were at the movies. Then we left the movies. But I wanted to go to it was called Singular at the time. I wanted to go check out their new phones. He flipped out. And I didn't know why he had that reaction. But later on, when I got his phone records, because he had this real crazy stuff going on, come to find out the girl he was cheating on me with worked at that Singular store. And that's why he couldn't walk in there with me, right? You know what I mean? But you find all that stuff out later, and it's just like stuff was happening around me all along, and I never knew why. And then it's like, now that I know more about all these narcissists I invited into my life, I know the manipulation now. I can recognize it. I see it. I understand it. I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like.
And that's what I want you to share. So, say you're, looking back and you're your 19-year-old self, and you now have all that life experience, and you want to talk to your 19-year-old self and say, look here, girlfriend, these are the warning signs that you need to make a U-turn and get away from this fool. What would you tell yourself?
The too good to be true, the Prince Charming, the gifts and the showering, those are nice, but when they happen right off, don't get too comfortable. Always want your own. Always strive to have your own. And I know they say, it's your husband supposed to take care of you, but you better make sure that man is not trying to just get you into that corner for you to be submissive to him and only him, to where it's like you're trapped. Because it's one thing to be submissive, but then it's one thing to be a trapped rat, you know. That's too good to be true.
At any point, Miss Confessions, that's what I'm going to call you. Did you, when you were 19, have a moment where you thought, I don't know about this? You know, something made you uncomfortable. You were questioning anything that you just then said, no, no, no.
Yep. So this is going to be hard too. Okay. So when we first got together, I got pregnant and I wound up having a miscarriage. I had to have a D&C. So I was at home after having my D&C, and it was this on Sundays. I had to be in the house for 2 days, you know, so, you know, relaxing and chilling out so you don't mess around and hemorrhage or whatever.
Right.
So I started getting these phone calls from my friends, and they were like, yeah, he down here, he was just down here. And they were like telling me that he was down there wherever they were at. I think it was like, I don't know if it was a park or the riverfront or whatever, but wherever they were, we used to congregate on Sundays, right? A lot of the Black people or whatever would congregate there you know, on the Sundays or whatever. And it just, you know, it'd be like a car show. Everybody, the guys riding by with the booming system,
Mm-hmm.
you know, all that kind of stuff. So we out there, we would known to be out there being fast, you know, getting numbers and stuff like that. So they call me frantic. You know, oh my God, he's down here, you know, he had this girl in his window, whatever. I can't remember what girl it was or whatever, but the way they were saying her name, it was like somebody that we knew from school. And so anyway, next, you know, he calls me or whatever. So I click over and I'm talking to them or whatever. And he was like, man, don't listen to them. They down here tripping and all that kind of stuff. So I listened to what he said.
Oh.
And I had just had a miscarriage. I could have got out of that. I could have got out. That was my escape. I was in love. But
Oh.
I was in narcissistic love, which is not love. Not love. It's total control and submission, domination. Love ain't got nothing to do with it.
So you remember that as being like one of the first situations where you became, where you were questioning things and you had an opportunity, but you didn't take it?
Yep.
Okay.
Red flags all over the place. All over.
Yeah, it's hard to see them when you're that young, and
when you come,
you don't know what to look for. Right.
Come from that, you're trained to receive that. You're trained to receive somebody to treat you like that.
Can you share some of the other types of things that he did or said to you?
Yeah. He took me totally out of character. Had me showing up to his job with his gun. He just wasn't there. Yeah, he just wasn't there. But the girl that at the mall, oh yeah, she had a lot to say. Oh yeah, third time he laid eyes on me, he was over here doing this and this and that to me and all this, and I'm like, huh, what? And he comes home every night and kisses me and my son. Wait a minute, okay, somebody got to die now.
Oh boy.
And I went up to his job, and by the grace of God, he wasn't there.
Well, she probably called him and told him she on her way. You better run.
He couldn't got away that fast because we only stayed a mile from his job. He couldn't have got away that fast. He had already not been there. But yeah, he wasn't worth that bullet.
Yeah, they're not worth the prison time.
Not he ain't worth the spit to put him out if he on fire.
Okay then. So what kinds of things did he do as the relationship progressed?
Just got more controlling, more physical. Started staying. It went from him coming in late to the next morning. He made me throw a hot iron on him one morning. He came in, and I've been looking for him all night, calling hospitals and police precincts. So I thought he was locked up or in the hospital because he wasn't answering my text messages. Well, not text messages, because text message went back then, but my paging. And so, and he came in the house and he looked me up and down and asked me what the F I was looking at. And I was like, somebody on fire, but I had more choice words than that. And I had the iron. I was ironing my uniform to go to school. I was in cosmetology school. And I was getting me and my son ready to go to school. He walked in as we're about to leave. And so he's like, what you looking at? And I was like, somebody hot. And I like put the iron on him.
Woo!
How you acting out your mind? And if somebody make you want to act violent with them, leave them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the best thing to do.
You got to leave them alone. If they take you, they make your blood pressure go up. If they make you hoop and holler and call them the B word. And if a man takes you just out of your mind and make you crazy, you got to let him go. You got to let him go. He ain't worth it. I promise you.
No, I am in full agreement with you. And it's just good that you say that, because I think a lot of women are used to those kind of dramatic relationships to the point, because they grew up in homes like that and they think that's normal. That's normal.
I grew up, one time I saw my aunt, my favorite aunt. I saw her the next, I don't even know what happened. I don't know when I saw her. I think I was already gone to school. But when I saw her, her nose was fat and pink, and she looked like she had been crying and everything. And some guy she had been messing with, I don't know what he thought. I don't know why he did it, but he came up to our house and asked for her at the door. When she came to the door, he punched her in her face. I don't know if he broke her nose, but whatever he did, her nose was swollen. And then 2 weeks later, she got 2 black eyes from the same punch in the one, in the nose the one time.
One punch, right.
Yeah. And so, and then my house was kind of rowdy. My house was kind of rowdy. I was raised with all my father's siblings. So all they did was fight over the phone, fight over the TV, all they did was fight. They just be in there fighting. So I wasn't a stranger to fighting. And then I had a favorite uncle, and then his, he was playing girlfriends, and one of his girlfriends showed up to the house where his kid's mother was, and he owed the girl money, and she wanted her money, and he went out, he beat her up in front of everybody, and he was wrong as 2 left feet. Beat her up.
Because she wanted her money.
Because she wanted her money.
He was the one cheating.
He was the one cheating.
Okay. So, okay, now you put all this together. What was your concept of what manhood was like? What did you think a man was in love and things like that?
Well, I definitely picked the guys that put me on the back burner, that would ghost me, because that's kind of how my whole life started, being ghosted by dudes. My dad ghosted me and my mom.
Oh, true. That's right.
Yeah. The charmer that speak a good game. Don't have nothing to pan out. You don't have nothing to show for it. Just the promise, the future fakers. That's it. Mm-hmm. Future. Learn that word, future fakers. Those people.
I call them the fairy godfathers. They're going to grant all your wishes. All your wishes is going to come true, except it don't never happen. My son's father, that's another thing he did. When I left him, he had this favorite saying, "Oh, it's going to get greater later. It's going to get greater later, right?" So I left my son's father when he was 3. I didn't get my first child support check until my son was 12. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And before then, he had only given me two $150 money orders, and they weren't in the same month. They were like 1 month, and then 3 months later, and it was another one. That kind of thing. He did really scandalous things, like when I left him, because he thought he was putting me out, right? I think he believed he was teaching me a lesson, right? But I had my own apartment. I had already been putting stuff in layaway, stashing it at people's homes, all kind of stuff. I had been paying on different types of stuff. So I was just waiting on my move-in day. And I worked right around the corner from this apartment complex, right? So I had been over there. I was freshly out of beauty school. So I went around there and I put all these flyers out. The post office lady wound up calling me, and she was like, if you don't come get this stuff, I'm calling the police. I'm like, oh my God, right? So I called the apartment complex, and I'm like, do I really got to come pick up all those flyers? It was like 200 flyers. I was like, because it was like each door.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, do I really need to come pick those up? She was like, no, I'll give you, she's like, you can leave them if you give me half off on my hairstyle. So I gave her half off. Me and her wound up getting cool. She wound up letting me move in 2 weeks before my move-in date because she knew my situation. And I was supposed to move in on March 30th. She let me move in on March 15th, and did not charge me.
See, girl, look at you.
And he thought he was putting me out. He went out the U-Haul truck, all the kind of stuff. Because I was at the end. I had just talked to too many different females with my son's father. I just talked to too many of them, and they were like, ask him. You know, I'm like, well, I did ask him. I'm just trying to see what you guys got going on. Like, is this business or what's going on? Ask him. Okay, never mind. I thought I was talking to a woman, but never mind. So I get off the phone with them. So I just started making preparation to get away from. So I did that. I started putting everything in place, and all of those chips like fell into place with the apartment complex where I passed my state board the first try. All of that stuff just like fell in place. And then like he thought he was putting me and my son out. And then he went and got the U-Haul truck, packed all our stuff up from the house, drove it around to my aunt's house. And he knew my aunt didn't like him, so my uncles and cousins and everybody was there. He thought they were there to move my stuff into the house, where actually they were just rearranging the stuff on the truck and putting my stuff that was on layaway that I had already bought
in the truck.
and putting it around to my apartment. And so then they brought the truck back and put it right back like he had and all that kind of stuff. And so then I went and got him, brought him to the truck. He rode around. Well, he didn't get much of a deposit back. You know, you got to put a deposit down. He's like, well, where did they go? Because the truck was already where it needed to be. So he's thinking that they went joyriding in the truck because all this mileage that was on there. But it wasn't the mileage. They went and got my living room set. They went and got all my furniture. So I had stuff at that house. Like I told you, I had multiple places. So they had to take the move truck and got all of my stuff out of place and then put the truck right back. So he thought they were being ornery with using the gas and the mileage and all that kind of stuff. He just didn't know. And so then for 2 weeks, he didn't know that I had my own place. And then he wound up popping up on me and my son at Kmart. And I was getting like ashtrays and ice trays and trash cans and ironing boards. And he was just like, what are you doing? And I was like, he was like, then it's like he started connecting. You got your own place. Yeah. Dude.
Dang it, I sure did.
I'm a grown woman. I can't leave.
What a concept.
Hey, duh, right, exactly. So it was just like, he was upset. And I was like, so you wanted me to be homeless? Or you wanted me to be under her control again? And I'm like, I wasn't going back there. That wasn't what I wanted for my life. I was an adult woman and I needed to be out on my own.
No, he wanted you to be like all, destitute and broken and crying and feeling hopeless and depressed so that he could feel all, like he was the king and that he had accomplished something by breaking you.
Nope.
Good for you.
He pissed me off and made me a maniac is what he did. And so it was just like, to spite him, I did more above and beyond just to let him know you can't conquer me.
Good for you. So
Yeah.
how long did it take you to get to that step? How old were you when all of this happened?
So we were together 6 years. That was the longest relationship I ever had, 6 years. Because my tolerance just got shorter and shorter and shorter. And now it's to the point, like, I've been to the point having conversations with people and I'm blocking them as we're talking, knowing that when we get off the phone, we won't ever speak again. Like,
Yeah.
literally.
Girl, yeah, I'll be like, oh, look at the time. I gotta go. Because you just, you're done.
Done instantly. So it took me 6 years to get rid of him. But it went from 6 years to 2 years. Well, 6 years to 3 years to 2 years to 6 months to a couple days.
6 minutes. 6 minutes on the radio.
Exactly. It's I have no tolerance.
Yeah.
None.
I understand.
Yeah. He got to the point where he hated it so much that he couldn't control me and he couldn't get me back in my spot, to where over 6 years we kind of went and got our cars fixed at the same places, and the same mechanics knew us and all that kind of stuff. So when my car needed some work on it, I went to the same spots. Well, he felt those were his hookups. Don't go there. So he called me and was like, why are you going to my spots? Find your own spots. And I was like, I'm going to continue to go to the people that know my car. He wound up calling the guy, telling him he would pay him whatever I was going to pay him just to not touch my car.
And did the guy go for it?
No.
Oh, good.
No, he did not. But
unbelievable.
Yeah. That's how spiteful these dudes get.
That's just acting like a little bee.
That's
just a bit much.
Mm-hmm. You told me we had to keep it clean, so I'm been keeping it clean.
Yes, that's notice I only use an initial. I'm trying to be good myself.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, that's just you just being a little too extra, dude. Just really? Yeah.
But
that's just a bit much.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your, you're going to have a takeaway from all of your life experiences now. You 40-ish, and so you got all these years of wisdom now. You're going to tell these young ladies listening to this what? How can they avoid getting involved with a guy like that?
Oh, my God. Okay, so first of all, if you were raised in some type of dysfunctional home, I would say that you need to start looking up narcissistic abuse right away. If you were raised in a home with drugs, alcoholism, any of that kind of stuff, where molestation, any type of abuse, I would say the first thing you need to do is start looking on YouTube for narcissistic abuse help, all that kind of stuff, and really start getting into it, because if you've been traumatized by a narcissist, I guarantee you the patterns that you are picking right now are because of that. And if you're wondering why all the guys are the same, and you try to pick them differently, okay, I met this guy here, I met this guy there, but you need to understand that you're picking this person, these people, because of the same thing from your family of origin, the house you grew up in. I guarantee you, most of my boyfriends were alcoholics. Most of them were alcoholics in some way, shape, form, or fashion, or mentally abusive in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So if you've had any of that, find a narcissistic abuse coach to follow and learn about it. That woke me up so much. It changed my life. My life. I literally discarded most people out of my life because that's what they are. And I handpicked these people. And I thought that we were in like really real friendships and real relationships and stuff like that. And we weren't. It was literally a narcissistic, codependent relationship, which will never be genuine.
Ever. They can't be.
Ever. So that's what I would say. Change my life.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come, and I'm glad you submitted your name so that we could hear what you have to say. That was a very interesting story. I'm glad you're strong and on the other side and just ditching them like you did. You gotta go, get out.
Yeah, my tolerance, I don't do it. Don't quit. You pick girlfriends wrong too. You pick girlfriends wrong just as well as men. When you've been narcissistically abused, you will pick a girlfriend, not like a sexual friend, but you will pick girlfriends the same way. I mean, and if you are homosexual or whatever, you will pick a partner that's narcissistic if you don't know any better.
That's unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, it's what you know. People go for what they know. What's comfortable, as sick and twisted as it is, those kind of, that pain is a familiar and comfortable pain. And so people really have a hard time giving it up. It's like human beings have some very interesting mental, patterns, emotional patterns that I don't think anybody can really ever understand, no matter how much they study the mind, the human mind. It's always an interesting how it goes back to something that's hurtful, better, more often than something that would be joyful and beneficial. That's the part that just kills me. But I'm hoping that all you ladies together, by people seeing that these things can happen to you, but that you can address them and come out on the other side and be okay, they can see, look, she did it. I can do it too. That's what I'm hoping is the message that you all collectively share with the women who'll be watching these videos.
Yeah. You just gotta, another thing, one thing that I read or I learned about codependency and narcissism, the songs we listen to are full of that message that you're supposed to be hurting to be in love, that kind of thing. And people don't make that connection either. So you keep singing those songs over and over again, and it makes you feel like that's how you're supposed to be feeling about this person when you're not. That's a setup. Those woe is me songs, I'm not gonna cry. Nah. I love Mary. We love Mary. But you have to know how to disassociate and not relate those songs to what's going on in your life. Just, enjoy the song or beat, whatever you're going to do. But don't make that something on how you live your life based on those songs. Those songs all over the place. That's pretty much, we don't have a lot of empowering songs. We have a lot of those, dead.
Well, okay then. No, you're right. Actually, I usually listen to jazz. It doesn't even have any vocals.
Exactly.
It's music.
And that's where I'm at now. That's where I'm at. Mine.
I just no music, no words.
Yep. Because all those words carry energy.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I just want to hear the music. I just want to hear it. I like saxophone, and that's what I listen to.
Exactly.
Right. Well, girl, you enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you very much for spending this time with me. I'm going to edit your video, and hopefully I will have it up tomorrow.